Which offensive duo would you rather have on Sunday? Tua and Tyreek or Mahomes and Kelce?
I'm going to say Tua and Tyreek anytime I'm asked this question for this season because of how electrifying Tyreek Hill has been. This dude can take a pass and he can take it to the house at any moment. You watch him blow by defenders. They're not even within 5 yards of him, for crying out loud. He's just electrifying. It's just that simple. And I think that because he's so great, I know how big-time Travis Kelce is. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. But I also think you have to take into consideration the fact that there's very little else for Patrick Mahomes to rely upon now. For some reason, Andy Reid is not running the football and giving it to Isaiah Pacheco as much as he should, as far as I'm concerned. And you're relying on these receivers, the Sky Moores of the world and others who are dropping touchdown passes right in their arm. If it ain't Kadarius Toney one week, it's Sky Moore the next. Juju Smith-Schuster is no longer there. McCole Hardman just got back because the New York Jets didn't want him anymore. Everywhere you turn with the wideouts, you just don't have reliable weapons. It's getting to the point where if Patrick Mahomes ain't throwing the football to Travis Kelce, he's just going to run with it because he ain't going to trust the damn receivers to catch the ball. Why should I be excited about that when I have the alternative of Tua Tagovailoa, who's leading the league in passing yards, tied for the league in TD passes, and he's got an electrifying talent like Tyreek Hill, who is a legitimate league MVP candidate, even though no wide receiver has ever won it. A matter of fact, the only wide receiver that's ever gotten a vote was Randy Moss in 1998. But in the end, Tyreek Hill is so great. He's so electrifying. Why would I pick anybody on Kansas City, from a receiver's perspective, to watch more than him? I'm going to roll with Tua and Tyreek as the duo that I'd rather have.
For this weekend,
you have to take the quarterback, Steve.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No.
Who wants? You want me to go? You
got it.
You have to
Mad
take the quarterback.
Go ahead, Mad Dog. It's okay.
Yeah, you have to take the quarterback. I mean, I understand Tyreek Hill is great. He's got over 1,000 yards. Steve's right. He could be an MVP candidate. No argument there. But Tua is not a Hall of Famer. All right, not yet. He got a lot to do. He's never won a playoff game. He's been removed from big spots. Bad in Buffalo, bad in Philadelphia this year. No question about it. Mahomes, he's an all-timer. He's one of the all-time great players at the position. He's going to go down as a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Kelce's going to the Hall of Fame, too. So is Hill. He's a Hall of Fame receiver, but Kelce's a Hall of Fame tight end. So if you're doing the difference, you have to take the quarterback with the Hall of Fame tight end. Tua's a quarterback, not a Hall of Famer. Mahomes is. So I'm going to take the combination of the back-to-back Hall of Famers on Kansas City. Then I'm going to take, of course, on the back-to-back with Miami. And remember this, too. Hill was with Kansas City, and he left, and they still won a Super Bowl, which tells you how great Mahomes is. Mahomes won a Super Bowl with and without Hill. Would Tua be this good without Hill? Absolutely not. So the difference here, I understand Hill's great playmaking ability and his speed. I get it. He's a cheetah. I understand it. And I'd rather have that kind of player than the big tight end. But you can't compare. It's not even at the same level. Tua and Mahomes. So give me the quarterback tight end for Kansas City.
I just love the way you say cheetah. If this game were not in Germany, and if Taylor Swift was in attendance, I'd go with Mahomes and Kelce because Tay-Tay is good for 10 extra points for the Chiefs. But the game is in Germany. It's not in Arrowhead. She will not be there. And Mad Dog, you said it. Tyreek Hill is an MVP candidate. I think he's the difference. I think this is a game where he is circled on his calendar. He's trying to throw the deuces up against his old squad. He told him, you better change all your play calls because I know them all. You can say what you want about Tua versus Mahomes. Nobody is comparing them as players, but you can't undersell what Tua has done this season. Yes, Tyreek Hill is an MVP candidate, but Tua also, in his own right, has put up some MVP-type numbers so far. So I'm going to go with Tyreek and Tua.
You could just say, I agree with Steven. I mean, there's no crime in that. I just want to state that.
Yeah, but where's the
record.
fun in that? Where's the fun in that?
You'd be surprised what it would do for you. A lot of people would gravitate to that.
Why do you have to say it in that tone though? Like, why do you have to have
I feel like people gravitate to me just fine.
What's wrong with my tone?
Hey,
what's wrong with my tone?
Why don't you agree with that?
It's
like the sexy voice comes out.
Which is not
what
working.
is that?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, when I'm not yelling, my voice is always sexy. That's number one. Number two, Molly she just told me a few minutes ago, doggy, she FaceTimed me to quiet down. Don't speak until I'm spoken to, okay? Then I quiet down, and now she's getting on me about that.
No, I FaceTimed you to not, in the commercial break, to tell him to not speak over me.
Yeah, well, he does have a tendency of doing that,
Wow,
Molly. I'm glad
Molly.
you brought that to his attention. I don't know. It's called First Take. I understand it's Steven's show, but, you know, you can let other people talk.
Oh, it's not my
Steven.
show. Oh, it's not my show. This girl FaceTimes me during the day, during the weekend, telling me, barking orders at me 7 days a week. It's not my show. It's hers. Trust me.
But isn't it always to make the show better, to bring out the best?
Because I hear
isn't
no,
that
I hear First
isn't
Take
it's
that
your
always the-
interpretation.
Excuse me, did I just get an email from Mike Skarka and PR that First Take's up for 15 months in a row and it was the highest, da-da-da?
Because of you. It's because of you.
No, I'm
It's 'cause of you.
not saying that. But I'm saying any of these critiques are only helping us, okay? It's all positive. All right, Doggy, would you be surprised if the Cowboys win at Philly?
Yeah, I would. And number two, quickly, Mo, I think Jerry's got to stop with these interviews. I mean, that was he sounded like 100 years old, for crying out loud. Please, as old as Stephen A. Enough with the spots on the Monday with the shows. Yes, they have to win the game. Yes, it's an important game. They need to show themselves that they can beat the Eagles on the road in a big spot. Lost at San Francisco, never won in Philadelphia. Help Prescott. Put them in a situation, most importantly, to get the 1 seed. Because remember, if they beat the Eagles, they have the tiebreakers, they win the head-to-head. And now that San Francisco's got 3 losses, the head-to-head may not apply. They seem to beat Philadelphia at home. They need to win the game. This is a very big game for Prescott and the Cowboys.
What you just said? Did you just bring up something about seeding? I know damn well you didn't just bring something up about seeding. Week 8 of the NFL season.
He got you.
Good job.
Golly.
Good job.
Ain't that crazy?
He got you.
That is crazy. Go ahead, Stephen A. Go ahead.
Well, listen, I just
thought I heard that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys win. They won't. They'll lose. I'll be there, by the way, Swaggo. I'm going to the game. Philly's called. I shall be there.
Last time you
I
were
will
there,
tell
it was
you
a good
this.
day.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. That's my second home. We know what I've done in 17 years in Philadelphia. It speaks for itself. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys have the ability to win this game because the Eagles' defense has left something to be desired. Some of the games that's Molly's phone going off yet again, but that's okay.
No, it wasn't my phone. It was someone just don't put me on camera. Don't even put me on camera.
I got you.
No, it wasn't
Here's
mine.
the deal, y'all.
It's strangers.
You know, when you look at the Eagles' defense, it hasn't been that impressive. They've been giving up too much yardage, too many points. Even when they won last week against the Commanders, they gave up 31 points. I mean, Sam Howell looked like the second coming to Joe Montana. I don't know what the hell was going on. So if you're Dak Prescott with the level of play that CeeDee Lamb has been putting forth, with the chemistry that you clearly have developed with him, with Brandon Cooks coming up the rear, still hasn't caught more than 4 passes in a game, but that chemistry between him and Dak Prescott seems to be growing as well. When you take all of those things into consideration and what Dak looks like when he has a lead in terms of his completion percentage, touchdowns compared to the interceptions, compared to when he's at a deficit, here's where this game comes down to, Swaggle. It really comes down to the Dallas Cowboys defense. Are you going to be able to neutralize Philadelphia with Hurts and that brother A.J. Brown, 6 straight games, over 125 receiving yards? Devontae Smith, nothing to sneeze at. Dallas Goedert, Gainwell running out of the backfield with Swift. Are you going to be able to neutralize Philly's offense so the Dallas Cowboys can operate with a lead? When you don't put Dak Prescott behind the 8 ball and he's not operating from a deficit, he's a completely different quarterback in a very, very positive way, especially on the road. At home, they managed to do a lot of great things. But the Dallas Cowboys have jumped out to big leads in most of their games, with the exception of beating the Chargers. Every game they've won has been lopsided. I'm saying that if you're the Dallas Cowboys, it really comes down to Micah Parsons and Lawrence and the rest of the crew. Let me not forget this kid, DeRon Bland, with 3 pick sixes this year, which leads the NFL. If you can give Dak Prescott a lead early, he performs better. So I'm going to say that defense, obviously it's in their hands. Could they make it happen? Sure, but I doubt it.
I 100% agree with you that it's in the defensive hands. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas beat Philly. Philly's not playing great right now. I thought last year the gap between Dallas and Philly was much bigger than it is this year, and it has a lot to do with Philly. Like, the teams that we've seen Dallas lose to this year in particular have been because of the run game. And we know Philly's offensive line is considered the best in the league, and we know that they should be able to run the ball at a high clip, even though they haven't been like we thought they would this season. So to be surprised, no. I think Dallas needs this game psychologically, like we talked about with San Francisco. Stephen A., it goes back to what we talked about before the season started. Moments. This is another one of those seminal games for the Dallas Cowboys to continue to assert themselves and prove to themselves that they belong in this conversation about truly being able to go to an NFC championship or a Super Bowl. That is all that this is about. We know they gonna get another shot at Philly. We know that you gotta start playing well as the season goes along against in division rivals. All of that stuff is to be understood. But if Dak Prescott and this offense and this Dallas Cowboys defense want to have that type of level of conversation within their building about a Super Bowl or NFC championship, this is one of those steps in that direction. I would not be surprised if they won it, but based on history, these are the games that they tend to lose.
100%. They need you. The key word there for me was psychological.
Yes.
The Cowboys need to show on the road they can win a big game. And before you knock me on the seeding, remember, it's much more apropos to bring up seeding, Swagoo,
in division.
when it's two divisional opponents.
I got you.
Yeah.
Kansas City and Miami, they're not division. So if Dallas can beat Philly here, they get tied, and then they get Philly in their building. And if they ever won that game, they'd have a game-and-a-half lead because they win the tiebreaker. And that would make Dallas the 1 seed. So
Man,
there's something there with that, too.
Man,
Go ahead.
Only one problem with that, Doggy.
Only one problem.
Hold on, Swagoo. It's only one problem with that, Doggy, what you said. That's after you admitted he got you. So that soliloquy right there don't count.
And they just lost to an in-division opponent.
Yes, it does.
Mad Dog.
And that was a good one,
They
too.
just lost.